Assalamu alaikum, my lovely students at Al Muhammadiyya School and Kindergarten. I hope you and your families are all feeling great. In this week's video, we are going to review our grammar lessons. We're going to start with Unit 8. Previously, we have discussed the second conditional and I wish. Second conditional. We use it or second conditional to talk about unreal or imaginary situation. Okay, so these are things that we fantasize, they are not real. Okay, note, usually with he, she, it, we use were instead of was, especially in formal situations. And this means that you have two choices with he, she, and it. We can use was and we can use were. So both choices are correct, but because we're talking about unreal, imaginary situation, it is better to use were. Now, let's have a look on how do we structure a sentence using the second conditional. We start the sentence with if plus subject followed by verb to, which is the past simple, plus a complement if needed. After that, it is followed by a subject plus would plus verb in its base form followed by a complement if needed. Remember that the first part or the part that starts with if is called an if clause, and the second part, okay, it's called the main clause, and it contains would. Let's have a look at some examples. If I had $1 billion, I would buy a castle. So this is the if clause. We agreed it started with if, so we're going to use the verb in its past simple form, which is had in this case, followed by the main clause, which contains would, plus the base form of the verb buy, which is buy. Another way of writing an if clause is to change the places of the main clause with the if clause. That means they are interchangeable. What do I mean by interchangeable? I can write the previous sentence in this way too. I would buy a castle if I had $1 billion. The only difference that we have is if I start with the if clause, like in the first sentence, I'm going to have to separate both clauses with a comma. If I start with the main clause, I don't have to put a comma before if. Another example, if I lived in the countryside, I would have a horse. Or you can say, I would have a horse if I lived in the countryside. With the if clause, remember that we used verb to. With the main clause, we used would plus have, which is the base form of have. Now, let's quickly review I wish. Now, let's have a look at an exercise. This exercise is part of your second conditional worksheet. Let's have a look. If I dash bu, I dash get a new job. We agreed. The part that starts with if, we are going to use the past simple. What is the correct past simple form from the verb to be that shall go with I? Yes, I. Were you? I, and we agreed since we use the the verb to with the if clause in this part, we have now to use would plus the base form. So remember that the base form usually lies there in the brackets. You don't have to think of it a lot. So you have to say, I would get a new job. Let's see the next example. If we not be, I dash be angry with you. So this is the if part or if a clause. We have to use the verb to. What's the negative form of be? Yes, weren't. If we weren't friends, I, what happened? Yes, would be angry with you. Next one. If I had correct enough money, I would buy a big house. Next is if she, again we are using not plus the verb to be. So what choices do we have? Yes, wasn't or weren't always so late. She would be promoted. And as I told you, you are allowed to use wasn't or weren't, but weren't is actually more familiar. Okay? So you better use weren't. Final one, they. We started in this case with they. So what's the part that goes with it? Yes, would come to dinner if they had time. We use I wish to say that we want something to be different from how it is now. In this case, we can use were instead of was with singular pronouns or singular nouns like I, he, she, and it, and anything that refers to a singular thing. Structure. We structure sentences using I wish by starting with I wish plus verb to. Now, let's look at some examples. I wish you had a laptop. You start your sentence with I wish, and after that you add the situation or the thing that you wanted to be different. Like, in this case, you had a laptop. That means you don't have a laptop, but you desire to have one. So you want the situation to be different. As you can see, the verb is in the past simple. Had is the verb to of the verb to have. Next, I wish I could visit my friend in Germany. Again, you start your sentence with I wish, and after that, you add could or would to express a situation that you want it to be different. Next one, I wish my family phoned me more. Again, we're using here verb to of the verb phone, in which in this case we only add a D. Finally is I wish we saw our friends daily. The verb so is the past tense of the verb see. Now let's have a look at this exercise. It is part of your I wish worksheet. 1. I wish we dash live near the beach. We agreed with sentences that start with I wish to show something that you want to be different or to show your wishes. We have to use verb to from the verb between the brackets. What's the verb to of live? Yes, lived. So the sentence becomes, I wish we lived near the beach. Next. Do you ever wish you dash can travel more? So when you have a model plus a verb, you only take the past form of that model. So the sentence becomes, could travel. Next. I wish I be better at math. What's the form that we need here? Yes, were. I wish we not have to wear a school uniform. What's the correct choice? I wish we didn't have to wear a school uniform. Sometimes I wish I. What's the verb to from fly? Yes, flew. Finally, I wish we have go to Disney World. So I wish we went to Disney World. My lovely students, please remember that this video is only to review and refresh your memory. It is not as important as the previous ones. Lots of love, your English teacher. Assalamu alaikum, my beloved students. I hope you and your families are all feeling great. In this video, we're going to do a quick review for Unit 9's grammar, which are the past perfect and reported speech. Shall we start? Now, let's have a quick review regarding the past perfect. Past perfect. We use the past perfect to talk about an event that happened before another event in the past. How do we structure it? We start with the subject plus had plus verb 3 and the complement if needed. Now, let's have a quick look at this exercise. It is part of your past perfect worksheet, but please remember that I did some changes in order to show you how do we deal with the past simple when it comes with the past perfect. Let's start. Put the verbs between brackets in the past perfect or past simple. The storm destroyed the sandcastle that we. Okay, as you can see, in this sentence we have two tenses. The first one that was used was the past simple, okay? And the second we are going to use is gonna be the past perfect. But why did I use the past perfect? Is because which event or which action happened first? The building or the destroying? Yes. As you can see, we usually build something for it to be destroyed. So that's why with this part, we chose to use the past perfect. So that's why we say the storm destroyed the sand castle that we had built. He not be to Brazil before 1997. So, at 1997, before that time, before that event, he, yes, hadn't been to Brazil. Next, when she go out to play, she do already her homework. So you have two blanks. When you have two blanks, okay, remember to see which is the event that happened first. Did she go out to play first or do her homeworks? Yes. So she did her homeworks first, then she went to play. That means we say when she went out to play, she had already done her homework. Next, my brother eat all of the cake that our mom make. Which happened first, making the cakes or eating them? Yes, so it is making the cakes, then we eat them. So we say, my brother ate all of the cakes that our mother had made. Next, the doctor take off the plaster that he put 6 weeks before. What's the thing that happened first? Yes, he had put on 6 weeks before, and the doctor took off the plaster that he had put on 6 weeks before. The waiter, yes, think of it, a drink that I not order. So the waiter wrote a drink that I hadn't ordered. The next topic we need to review is reported speech. We previously agreed that when we change from direct speech into reported speech, we take the tense one step back. That means present simple will become past simple. Present continuous will become past continuous. Past simple will be past perfect. Present perfect will be past perfect. Past continuous will be past perfect continuous, and we won't be discussing this tense. Will, when we use it for future, it's gonna change into would conditional, and again, here we are not going to discuss it. Can will change to could, may to might, and must is changed into had to. Now, as you can see, we have certain changes within different pronouns. Please remember to change those pronouns when you change the sentences. Again, some other changes that occur are place and time expressions, like today, now, yesterday, and many other different. Now, let's have a quick look at this exercise. You can find it in your reported speech worksheet. 1. She left the office 2 hours ago. How do we report this sentence? You have to change the tense of the sentence, okay, which is past simple in this case. You have to change again 2 hours ago, which is the phrase that shows time. The new sentence would be, she said that she had left 2 hours before. So left, which was the past simple tense, becomes past perfect, and 2 hours ago would become 2 hours before. 2. I'm going to show you something very interesting. Let's look. What's the tense of the sentence? Yes, it's future using going to, but because it is with going to, we're going to deal with it as the present continuous. So we have to take it one step back, so it will be past continuous. So the new sentence would be, Susan told me she was going to show me something very interesting. 3. I want to play with you, Sue. You have to change the pronoun, the tense of the sentence too. And always pay attention to the pronouns within the sentence. The new sentence would be, he said he wanted to play with her. We changed the you into her because we are talking or addressing Sue. 4. You went shopping last Saturday. Again, remember that we have to change the pronoun, the tense of the sentence, and anytime expressions. So the new sentence would be, she said she had gone shopping the Saturday before. 5. I met him 2 days ago. The new sentence would be, he said he had met him 2 days before. So we change the pronoun, we change the tense, and we agreed anything that shows time or any time expressions. 6. I didn't break it. What do we have to change? We have to change the pronoun, which is I, and I have to change the tense of the sentence, which is the past simple into the past perfect. The new sentence would be, the child said that he hadn't broken it. 7. Everybody is hungry. In this sentence, we're going only to change the present simple tense, which is represented in is. The reported sentence would be, she said everybody was hungry. 8. They are getting married next week. The tense is present continuous. The thing that we need to change is next week, the time expression. The new sentence would be, she said they were getting married the following week. 9. Tom, the phone is ringing. What do we have to change? Yes, the tense of the sentence, which is the present continuous, we have to change it into past continuous. So how do we report this sentence? Yes, she told Tom that the phone was ringing. 10. I lost my handbag yesterday. We have to change the pronoun, we have to change the tense of the verb, and we have to change other pronouns or possessive adjectives, or in some sentences that we have possessive pronouns and so on. And we have here yesterday. So the new sentence would be, she said she had lost her handbag the day before, or the previous day is also acceptable. And this is all for reviewing our grammar lessons. My dear students, please do not hesitate to ask any question, and I'm always there for you. Lots of love, your English teacher.